Now, the Nigerian equities market is sustaining its bullish momentum as gains in MTN Nigeria, Wapco and Aradel drive the all-share index higher. Meanwhile, analysts at Meristem note earnings release and improving macroeconomic environment will lift the fourth quarter market performance even further. Matilda Adefalujo, investment research analyst at Meristem, joins me now for more market movements. Thanks a lot for joining us on the show today, Matilda. Give us a sense of the overview of the performance of the market in Q3 and the highlights of the month of October for you so far.
Thank you very much for having me, David. It's nice to be here.
Yes.
So for Q3 2025, we see that the NGX ASI closed about 5 basis points short of 19%, and this is also stronger than what we've seen in previous quarters, where it closed by about 14% in Q2 and just 2.41% in Q1. Well, I'll say that some of the drivers of this strong performance are, strong corporate earnings and corporate disclosures in Q3. Then there was also the announcement of the insurance sector reform, that caused some movement in insurance tickers. Usually insurance tickers, move just very, very marginally, but we saw some movement there. And then, of course, the inflation numbers that have been easing, it fell from 22.22% in June to 20.12%, which was, I would say that this was received very, very, investors were quite impressed. They were quite excited about this, because what this means is that it filters into expectation of lower monetary policy rates, which we also saw eventually, where the Monetary Policy Committee cut the MPR by 25 basis points. Basically what we saw in Q3 2025 is, in addition to the strong fundamentals, there was also positive market sentiment around performance of these different sectors. Then I think that a theme in the equities market this last quarter was the fear of missing out on one hand, but there was also retail participation. I would say that there was more retail participation, because when you look at, in different corners, you'd hear people saying, oh, the market is booming. What are you doing with your money? What are you doing with your life? So I would say that was also filtered into participation. I mean, the quarter did not come without its drags. I mean, bank dividends were not as impressive as we expected, or at least as some people thought or wanted. But I would say that it was not unexpected, because coming into the year, we had already forecasted that bank earnings would come into normalization this time around, and that's what we saw. So we're coming from a year in 2023, 2024, where banks were riding on high interest rates, having high interest income and all of that, and we're now coming to a period of calmer and more relatively lower interest environment. So it was quite expected, but of course the market did not really take that well. So I believe that the Q3 would have been much more impressive than what we saw. But I mean, it's so far in 2025, Q3 2025 was the best. Had the best performance.
Yes, and then we're already seeing some insight into the rest of this quarter. We saw the NGX's all-share index also crossed the 150,000 mark earlier this week. And we've also had a flurry of numbers coming through from the earnings release: Transcorp, Presco, Lafarge, Nigerian breweries. Let's talk about the numbers that caught your attention.
Yes, so that was yesterday. Was it yesterday now or 2 days ago, when it crossed 100 and when it crossed 150,000 points, and we're all jubilating that yes, we're seeing this happen. And so, I mean, of course, like you said, it's in response to some of these numbers. For example, Wapco in Q1 had very, very impressive performance, and we've seen them continue this trajectory even up to Q3. So there was impressive top line growth, and it was driven by, they had improved production capacity, and there was also robust demand for cement during the period for infrastructure projects and residential construction. So that helped to, better and improve their earnings. And something that's quite interesting that we saw was the growth in their cost of sales actually slowed. I'll say that this is because of relatively lower cost of raw materials, consumables, fuel, and power, and the pass-through effects of the relatively stable FX was also evident in their in the slower rate of growth of their cost of sales, and that helped to improve their profit after tax. Look at other companies like Okomu Oil, where Okomu, where where their top line, bottom line grew significantly. For top line, it grew by about 67%, and I'll say that to appreciate their shareholders, they complemented their strong performance by declaring an interim dividend of 10 naira, and the market actually reacted positively to this, because you see that on Monday, Okomu was one of the top traded stocks by value, even though, the price did not move, but you see investors, trying to buy into this. And so for Okomu, what we actually expect is that they would maintain their positive tone in 2025, and the festive season demand and still elevated global CPO prices would filter into their numbers, and basically we expect them to have impressive earnings.
I was having a conversation with Olumide here in the studio, looking at the expected stock price movement for tickers like Aradel and Seplat. But give us a sense of what we should also expect for the rest of this month as more numbers also come in terms of your recommendations as well. Hold, buy, sell, what would that be?
Yeah, so I mean, the decision to hold, buy, or sell is premised on different factors, like the fundamentals of the company. And so far, what we've seen has been, positive numbers. A lot of companies, especially in the consumer goods sector, are healing, or they're coming out of times where they had to battle with exchange rate instability, volatile exchange rate movement, and high cost pressures and all of that. So I believe that basically the year 2025 is a year of recovery. So I believe that I expect that investors would key into this and ensure that they do their due diligence, speak to their financial advisors, and ensure that they are buying into the right tickers. But overall, for the banks, they're yet to release their 9M. I expect them to actually do pretty well. And
fingers crossed. Matilda, thanks a lot for your time. That is Matilda Adefalujo, investment research analyst at Meristem.